Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Jermaine and I garden in Switzerland. In this video, I'm going to be planting this new concrete basket and I'll be using Hellebores as my main flowers. Hellebores are evergreen perennial plants that flower in the winter months. They come in many different varieties and the color of their flowers as well as their leaf size can look really different depending on the variety that you have. I have a few varieties in containers in my garden and I'll be showing you those later on in this video. But first, let me go ahead now and plant up this basket. I found this basket in an antique shop a couple of weeks ago and today I'm really excited to be planting these Hellebores inside. The plants that I'm going to be using for these arrangements is this Hellebores Verbum Beauty. I really love the way it looks. It has so many blooms and buds on it, and I'm going to be combining that with this Camellia, which is also a white bloomer, the baby cis, and I'll be adding a dusty miller to that. So I think that combination will all look good, and I'll put a few bulbs in there just to be prepared for the springtime. So when planting your Hellebores in containers, you want to make sure to provide them with rich, well-drained soil and also good fertilizer. Especially in fall and winter, in the periods when they are gearing up for the period of the year that they perform, which is the winter, you want to make sure to give them good soil, maybe some compost and some good fertilizer, so that they can build the energy that they will need to produce those beautiful blooms in winter. So right now I'm just adding in a few bulbs at the center and I hope that they will grow and they will come out in the middle of the container. It's also good to know that Hellebores can be very harmful to children and animals. In fact, on the price tag here, they actually indicate that you have to keep them away from little kids and animals. And that is also the reason why in some regions you might find that they don't get attacked by deer or some other animals that like to eat plants. So that will be the arrangement, and now I've put a few bulbs there in the middle, and I'm just going to cover everything with soil now, and then I'll top dress that with these pansies. So I've added a few more crocuses in the mix in the container in the basket arrangement, and I'm going to go ahead now and push them in. I'll be using a little stick to make the holes just to push the bulbs inside. So why the Hellebores may look so beautiful right now, where we are in winter and that is their season, when it starts getting warmer, they'll begin to look a bit tired and leggy. So I'll be taking them and putting them in the back of the house where we have a little bit more shade. So I'm all done now. I have chosen to leave this corner completely empty and not put any pansies there, just because I want that Hellebore to stand out on its own, and look at all those blooms around it. So looking at everything, I need to clean this up a little more. So I have some bulbs going here. I think the pansies bring in even more interest in that basket. So the basket is all done now and I'm really happy with how it looks. Now I'm going to show you the other Hellebores that I have in the garden here. I have these two containers with bigger plants. And I have two little concrete containers as well in which I've planted another variety. These containers have really brought welcome winter interest in my garden. And the Hellebores really make a big difference. This variety right here is the Early Rose Eyes and Roses from the Golden Collection, and you see that it looks really different from the other ones that we have. This one is much taller. The leaves are much bigger, larger, more robust, and also the color of the flowers is quite different. I like the soft pink. I think it looks quite beautiful with that yellow center. Under here, you can actually see where the new growth is going to be coming out of. Look at all those buds. So that will be the new growth on this one. So on the other side, On the other side, we have the Hellebores orientalis, which in my case tends to have more leaves than flowers, as I have observed, but maybe this is going to change. Right now, I'm not seeing many blooms here. But on this side right here, you can see that it does have a few blooms, which are really, really beautiful as well. Look at this. This one is a fresh one. Quite interesting. So what I've done is that I've added some pansies in this container. And I think it's really hard to tell between the blooms of the Hellebores and those of this beautiful burgundy pansy. It's really interesting. So I like the look of that. And over here I've put two more containers together, two concrete containers. Here I've chosen to combine them with this pine tree, the mini pine tree, and I have some winter berries going on here, and of course the Hellebores. And this variety is the winter gold from the gold collection, and I think that also looks really nice, quite beautiful. These containers have brought a much needed winter interest in my garden this winter, and the Hellebores especially have provided much needed blooms and flowers to look at. So I now have them in window boxes and other areas of my garden. And I'm planning to plant even more Hellebores going forward because they just look so beautiful. So I went out again in the garden the next day and I decided to rearrange the container even further, adding in the Muhlenbeckia and taking out the camellia that I initially put in there to include more varieties of Hellebores. And this is the result finally. I also decided to add 2 blocks underneath the basket to elevate it a bit more. So thank you so much for watching and see you in our next video. Bye bye.